Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Fairfield, Connecticut, the Blueprint, Matt Morgan!
Jesse Neal could hardly ask for a tougher opponent, for tougher competition in his professional wrestling debut than Matt Morgan. Not only Morgan recognizes the Blueprint for being the perfect physical and mental specimen if you were building the prototypical wrestler, but Morgan knows that the Main Event Mafia is watching his every move in anticipation of possibly adding him to the group. Just prior to Sacrifice, you recall Morgan took Kurt Angle to the limit here on Impact, but now that Sting is in charge, we're not sure what the Icon thinks of adding the Blueprint to the Main Event Mafia.
His opponent accompanied to the ring by Rhino from Orlando, Florida, petty officer Jesse Neal.
On October 12, 2000, Jesse Neal was one of the survivors in the suicide attack bombing of the USS Cole. And as Jesse makes his way down to the ring and as he looks up to the heavens, he understands that his best friend, Mark Nieto, wasn't so fortunate that day. Nieto, 16 other of Neal's shipmates killed in the Al-Qaeda attack. Jesse vowed that he would follow through on the promise that he and Mark made. They both had the dream to get into professional wrestling after their naval careers. And with the help of Rhino's training, well, we've reached that point. There you see Jesse's parents. They're here in the Impact Zone to share in this special moment.
I mean, Mike, it's a wonderful story. I mean, if you have a pulse, you're touched by this story. My only question is, what's Rhino thinking putting him into the match against Matt Morgan? If there's anybody you don't want to have to face right now in your first matchup.
Look at this. Quick roll up out of the corner, but there you see the strength of Morgan as he powers out.
Absolutely. To me, if there's anybody, it's this guy. The guy who's on a mission to impress the Main Event Mafia, on a mission to try to get them convinced that he belongs with them in some capacity. Now, I understand in Rhino's view it's a sink or swim kind of thing. You got to see what the kid's made of, but it seems like they could have started out with somebody else other than the Blueprint, who's just such a physical, awesome specimen.
Still to come tonight on Impact, one of the biggest main events that we've ever had. Samoa Joe versus Kevin Nash. Not only a King of the Mountain qualifier, we're going to drop down the top of the steel cage. It's loaded with weapons. And Samoa Joe and Kevin Nash, they're going to fight in the 6 sides of steel.
Still can't get over that visual as you just see that side slam. Let's look at this again. I mean, this is what he's all about. Wow. Pure raw power. Look at that. Just effortless. Jesse Neal, though, showing his toughness as he takes it. But, Mike, I still can't get that visual of my mind of Jeff Jarrett just throwing that haymaker at referee Earl Hebner when all he was trying to do was break the two of those guys up.
I mean, but think about that. It was in the heat of battle. You had the referees out there trying to separate Jeff Jarrett and Eric Young, and they were fighting. I can't believe Mick Foley saying how it was just a matter of time until he knew that Jeff Jarrett was going to snap.
All I know is what I saw. I'm not saying, I'm just saying the guy threw a haymaker and smashed Earl Hebner right in the face, and I think the video will prove that.
Jesse Neal having a very difficult time getting untracked here against the Blueprint Matt Morgan. And the standing drop kick, a prime example of what Don and I have been talking about when it comes to the overall physical and mental greatness of this young athlete.
Well, the good news for Jesse Neal here, too. Oh, well, Matt Morgan's not done. The good news for Jesse Neal here is that, hey, it's got to go uphill from here. I mean, this is your first shot. You go out there and you face the Blueprint. I mean, that's a physical force like no other. From this point on, it's got to get easier for Jesse Neal.
And during this match, I've been looking over at the War Machine Rhino, and I think we've seen some disappointment, but now, all of a sudden, Jesse's going to get that offense rolling. A couple of punches, but just like that, Morgan turns it around and decked him. Carbon footprint 2 and 3.
Here is your winner, the Blueprint, Matt Morgan.
That look on Rhino's face told the story that I had been seeing throughout this match. That is a look of disappointment. Let's review Jesse Neal's in-ring debut.
Well, it's a big night for the kid, but like I said, as you see the parents all excited about watching their son perform, he just caught the wrong guy on the wrong night. Tough challenge for anybody. We saw this guy take Kurt Angle all the way to the limit the other day to where Kurt gave him a handshake of respect afterwards.
And I guess now the only question that needs to be answered in the mind of the new Godfather of the Main Event Mafia